Okay, guys, so I basically seen an article a while ago saying that by 2021, Labour Party will change the vote of Brexit because of the immigration. Now, we're seeing a lot of immigrants coming into the country right now as we speak. So anyway, because it's the Labour Party, I come across Jeremy Corbyn and it's actually quite interesting. So I'm gonna, So Jeremy Bernard Corbyn, is a British politician who served as leader of the Labour Party and leader of the opposition from 2015 to 2020. Corbyn has been the Member of Parliament MP for Islington North since 1983. Yeah, so all this child abuse that's going on, he's been in power. I didn't even know all this, so I'm just learning this right now. Okay, so it's 1983 and he was in Islington North. Ideologically, I can't even say that, he identifies himself as a socialist. Well, I remember when they put him in. So, he used to come on a bike and that, didn't he? Making himself out he was a protester and all that. Well, he hasn't saved any kids, has he? But anyway, so his monarch was Elizabeth II. Prime Minister was David Cameron. Theresa May and Boris Johnson. His shadow face was Angela Eagle. Now, she is in my town. How the hell is she a Labour councillor in my town unless she's a shadow face? I mean, this is just crazy. And Emily Thornberg, but preceded by Harriet Harman. So Harriet Harman basically threw it down to Jezza boy. Yeah, Harriet Harman was affiliated with Pi and paid paedophile information exchange. The deputy was Tom Watson. Yeah, which was a little bit mad. Ian McNuckle, Jenny Formby was General Secretary. The chairman was Tom Watson. Ian Lavery, preceded by Ed Miliband, succeeded by Keir Starmer. Yeah, so that Keir Starmer's been in this party a long, long time. Looks like it, doesn't it? Oh, what date was that? So it's 2015 to 2020. So, that's Chair of the Wall, Member of Parliament, Islington. I don't know if you just want to read that. I'm just going to flick through this. Residency lives in Finsbury Park, North London. Education, Castle House School, Adams Grammar School. Don't know what the hell that is. So born in Chippenham, Wiltshire, and raised in both Wiltshire and Shropshire, Corbyn joined Labour as a teenager. Moving to London, he became a trade union representative in 1974 and he was elected to Haringey Council and became secretary of Hornsey Constitutionally Labour Party until being elected as the MP for Islington North in 1983. So he was basically in this party from a teenager. This goes way, way back. He's been in, obviously I don't know, I can't make any accusations because I really don't know, but, from the child abuse and what's going on, I mean, he would have been young himself, do you know what I mean? So, God knows what's going on with all this shite in it, what we're being told. His activism has included roles in anti-fascist action, the anti-apartheid movement, and the campaign for nuclear disarmament, and advocating for a united Ireland. As a backbencher MP, he frequently voted against the Labour whip, including new Labour governments under Tony Blair and Gordon Brown, a vocal opponent of the Iraq War. He chaired the Stop the War Coalition from 2011 to 2015, so he should. Corbyn received a Gandhi International Peace Award in 2013 for what? And the Sean McBride Peace Prize in 2017. And who the hell is Sean McBride and who the hell is Gandhi? You know, who the hell are these? According to a number of studies, media coverage of Corbyn has often been hostile. I thought he was a protester. He has condemned anti-Semitism, oh, I can't even say the word. Don't know where the fuck that one came from. But has been criticised for his past associations and responses to allegations of anti-Semitism within the Labour Party. And a 2018 poll found 86% of British Jews believed him to be anti-Semitic. I just don't get what all this is. I mean, it's just, what is it? Corbyn was elected leader of the Labour Party in 2015. The party's membership increased sharply, both during the leadership campaign and following his election, taking party to the left. He advocated renationalisation of public utilities and the railways, bet he did, HS2, a less interventionist military policy. What? An interventionist military policy? What? And reversals of austerity cuts to welfare and public services. Although critical of the European Union, he supported continued membership in the 2016 referendum after Labour MPs sought to remove him. In 2016, he won a second leadership contest in the 2017 general election. Labour increased its share of the vote to 40%, with Labour's 9.6% vote swing being its largest since the 1945 general election. Under Corbyn, Labour achieved a net gain of 30 seats and a hung parliament, but the party remained in opposition. In 2019, Corbyn endorsed holding a referendum on any Brexit withdrawal agreement, with a personal stance of neutrality in the 2019 general election. Labour's vote share fell to 32%, its lowest since 2015, leading to a net loss of 60 seats and leaving it with 202, its fewest since 1935. Corbyn said that he would not lead Labour into the next election, triggering a leadership election in 2020 that was won by Keir Starmer. You know what? I didn't vote for Keir Starmer. I didn't even. What the hell? Let's have a look at his early life. Oh, Castle House School where he lived. So, what's that? The grammar school? Jesus Christ, I wonder. His parents must have had the money to send him there. So, he lived until the age of 7 in a nearby village of Kington Street, Michael. He lived until the age of 7. Oh, yeah. He is the youngest of the 4 sons of Naomi Loveday, a maths teacher, and Benjamin Corbyn, an electrical engineer and expert in power reciprocators. His brother Piers Corbyn is a physicist, meteorologist and weather forecaster. His parents were Labour Party members and peace campaigners who met in the 1930s at a committee's meeting in support of Spanish Republic at Conway Hall during the Spanish Civil War. When Corbyn was 7, the family moved to Pave Lane in Shropshire, where his father bought Yew Tree Manor, a 17th century country house, which was once part of the Duke of Sutherland's Livershore estate. Corbyn attended Castle House School, an independent preparatory school near Newport, Shropshire, before at age 11 becoming a day student at the Adams Grammar School in the town. While still at school, he became active in the Wrexham constituency Young Socialists, his local Labour Party and the League Against Cruel Sports. He joined the Labour Party at age 16 and achieved 2 A-levels at grade A, the lowest possible passing grade before leaving school at 18. Corbyn joined the campaign for nuclear disarmament in 1966 while at school, and later became one of its 3 vice chairs and subsequently vice president. Around this time, he also campaigned against the Vietnam War. After school, Corbyn worked briefly as a reporter for a local newspaper, the Newport and Market Drayton Advertiser. At around the age of 19, he spent 2 years doing voluntary service overseas in Jamaica as a youth worker and geography teacher. He subsequently travelled through Latin America in 1969 and 1970, visiting Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay and Chile. Whilst in Brazil, he participated in a student demonstration in Sao Paulo against the Brazilian military government. He also attended the May Day March in Santiago, where the atmosphere around Salvador Allendé's Popularity Unity Alliance, which swept to power in the Chilean elections in 1970, made an impression on him. Noticed something very different from anything I have experienced. What Popular Unity and Allende have done was well together, and folk tradition, the song tradition, the artist tradition, and the intellectual tradition. Early careers, let's have a look at that. Returning to the UK in 1971, he worked as an official for the National Union of Tailors and Garment Workers. Corbyn began a course in trade union studies at North London Polytechnic, but left after a year without a degree. After a series of arguments with his tutors over the curriculum, he worked as a trade union organisation for the National Union of Public Employers, an amalgamated engineering and electrical union, where his union was approached by Tony Benn and encouraged to produce a blueprint for workers' control of British leyland. The plans did not proceed after Ben was removed to a different department. He was appointed a member of a district health authority, and in early 1974, at the age of 24, he was elected to Haringey Council in South Hornsby Ward. After boundary changes in 1978, he was re-elected in Haringey Ward as councillor, remaining so until 1983 as a delegate from Hornsby to the Labour Party conference in 1978. Corbyn successfully moved a motion calling for dentists to be employed by the NHS rather than private contractors. He also spoke in another debate describing a motion calling for greater support for law and order as more appropriate to the National Front than to the Labour Party. Corbyn became the local Labour Party's agent and organiser and had responsibility for the 1979 general election campaign in Hornsey. Around this time, he became involved with the London Labour Briefing, where he was a contributor, described by the Times in 1981 as Briefing's founder. The Economist, in a 1982 article, named Corbyn as Briefing's General Secretary figure, as did a profile on Corbyn, compiled by parliamentary biographer Andrew Roth in 2004, which asserts that he joined the Electoral Board as General Secretary in 1979. Michael Crick, in his 2016 edition of Militant, says Corbyn was a member of the Electoral Board, as does Landsey, Gross and Woolmar's 1989 work, The Rise and Fall of the Municipal Left. Corbyn said these reports were inaccurate in 2017, telling Sophie Ridge, "I read the magazine, I wrote for the magazine, I was not a member of the editorial board, I didn't agree with it." He worked on Tony Benn's unsuccessful deputy leadership campaign in 1981. He was keen to allow former international Marxist group member Tariq Ali to join the party, despite Labour's national executive having declared him unacceptable and declared that so far as we are concerned, he's a member of this party and he'll be issued with a card. In May 1982, when Corbyn was chairman of the Constituency Labour Party, Ali was given a party card signed by Corbyn. In November, the local party voted by 17 to 14 to insist on Ali's membership, up to and including the point of disbandment of the party. In the July 1982 edition of Briefing, Corbyn exposed expulsions of the Trotskyist and entryist group militants, saying that if impulsions are in order for militant, they should apply to us too. In the same year, he was the provisional convener to defeat the witch hunt campaign based at Corbyn's then address. The Metropolitan Police's special branch monitored Corbyn for 2 decades until the early 2000s, as he was deemed to be a subversive. According to the Labour Party, the security services kept files on many peace and Labour movement campaigners at the time, including anti-apartheid activists and trade unionists. So if anyone wants to go to it, Wikipedia, and I don't care what anyone says about Wiki, Julian Assange is locked up, yeah, so trust Wiki.